Are you planning to go to the Philippines? Must be excited. David here from Canada Philippines Adventures, your go-to channel for travel, lifestyle, real vlogs. Do you know the cost of a return flight? A return flight for 2-week vacation. We recommend you book at least 2 to 3 months in advance to avoid any peak hours to save some money. Right here we're looking at departing on September 4th and coming back on the 17th. So this is a 2-week vacation example here. You can see the rates. You're looking anywhere from 1,681 up to 1,958. Now these prices are going to vary depending on the flight times. So as you can see in this area here, 2 stops, you're at 1687. 1 stop is 1960. So makes a big difference in regards of travel time and not having to get off the airplane. So this one here, you will have a stopover in Vancouver. That's the YVR. So 1 hour and 53 minutes, so 2 hours. And then you will have a stopover once you get into Manila to get to your next flight, which is a domestic flight going to Dumaguete. That's a 2 hour and 25 minute stop. If you go down to this one here, where it's Philippine Airlines, it's a 20 hour and 45 minutes, only 1 stop. So you're going to be flying directly to Manila. Then you'll only be getting your next flight going to Dumaguete, and it's a 2 hour and 30 minute wait. So it's going to depend on how you feel and what you want to spend. There are going to be other costs which are associated. In regards, you always want to check the airlines for their baggage, what they provide, because every airline offers different requirements in regards of what they will allow. So let's click onto this. And we'll just go into here quickly. And you can see it's already jumping up over $2,000 here for this 1 stop. So this one is the return. Let's do this 21 hour. Select. Here are your flight details. So this one is 2,034.03 Canadian dollars. And your flight details would be leaving Toronto to Dumaguete, leaving at 1:35 a.m. in the morning and arriving in Dumaguete the next day at 10:20 a.m. and you only have 1 stop, which would be in Manila, and you have a holdover there for 2 hours and 30 minutes for the layover. And so that's this one. Now let's go for your return. Coming back, leaving Dumaguete at 2 p.m., getting to Manila at 3:30. You have an hour and a half layover in Manila. Then you have a 4-hour layover in Manila, actually, for the return. So sorry, that wasn't an hour and a half. That's an hour and 30 minutes travel time. Once you get to Manila, you have a 4-hour layover in Manila before you catch your next flight from Manila to Toronto. What you want to check is to see what you actually are allowed. So they have here carry-on bag for a fee. First checked bag not included. Non-refundable. Change fee. So these are very important to check out. Let's go to our next checkout. And you're going to scroll down. So flight protection. So flight protection on this is going to give you insurance. You can look at the details. This is something that is very important to have, but you check out those. You're looking at a premium of $267.19 on top of that cost. And if you are 69 years and above, you're not covered. So only 69 years of age and below. So we will click that. And I don't see anything on here about baggage. You want to find out the baggage. Make sure whatever flight you're taking, you double check what the requirements are and what they provide for carrying on baggage, meaning carry on. Some of them don't offer any carry on. You have to pay. So make sure that you check any of the fees so that you know prior to flying if there are fees, what those fees will be, and what the allowances are, the sizes. So you will need to go to whatever airline you're going to be flying with and check that out. Very important because it can add up very fast. Vancouver, Canada to Dumaguete. So we could do a comparison. Looking at the screen here, the same dates, I'm seeing it looks to be $13.27 is the least expensive, and it is going up to, I'm seeing $16.23. And because it's closer, your flight time is 18 hours and 40 minutes. Here's 17. So you want to check this out and do a comparison. Comparison from Vancouver, Canada to Dumaguete, same dates. Let's quickly check to see where we are in regards of cost here. One stop we're looking at on everything. This one here, carry-on bag is included. First check-in bag is included. Oh, this is an economy saver. It's $277 to pay. So you actually have to pay for that. So let's pay for that. So you're looking at $1,768.47. Use Agoda for looking at different availabilities for places to stay. There are other sites that you can check out. I would recommend, again, when you're doing your flight, to make sure that you have this all taken care of prior. You don't want to get into Dumaguete and start looking for a place. If you want to do it for a couple days at one place to see what it's like, then you can do that, but you risk not being able to get the same price again. So you're going to see prices all over the place. This is in Canadian funds. So per night, anywhere, well, here's one here, $396 a night. So if you want higher end, very expensive, down to $33 a night. This is Canadian before taxes. And you want to see if it has breakfast included. So there's breakfast, parking, and this one's $51 a night. So you want to check this and do comparables. Also check out the reviews. I've put here the dates of September 9th to the 13th for your stay. And I've put it for Siquijor Island. The reason why I put Siquijor Island is if you're staying in Dumaguete, it's a short ocean jet ride over to Siquijor Island from Dumaguete port. It's 45 minutes, so it's very quick. Siquijor is gorgeous. There's lots of different resorts for you to check out. I've been to Cocoa Grove Beach Resort myself numerous times. I just love it there. But there are lots of other resorts that you can check out, and the prices vary all over. So $44 a night, and right now Cocoa Grove is $164 a night. But also what you want to add on to your budget is once you're at any of these resorts, you want to check out Siquijor. So you want to do different tours, and that's going to cost you additional money. Maybe you want to do a sunset boat cruise. So I would allow an additional $500 on top of this cost. Okay, so here's a breakdown for you. If you watch those videos that I've attached, you'll see that they correspond. So for flying either from Toronto or Vancouver, obviously there's some other options. And I was using Expedia and Booking.com. And you can use other options also, which I did check out to cross-reference. But these two give you a good idea traveling from either Toronto or Vancouver to Dumaguete. So, you know, everybody's going to have a final destination. You're going to go first to Manila, and then once you go to Manila, which is your international airport, then you're going to go onward to whatever your final destination is. For example, Bohol, right, which is Tagbilaran, you know, Dumaguete, which I've used for this example to make it easier. What I have seen is you're looking at $1,700 to $2,300 for that. So that's your flight. Now, it's very important when you're looking at this is you have to make sure whatever flight that you're looking at, take your time to go through. Don't be in a rush, and make sure that you have carry-on that is included. And also, if you're planning on doing any checked bags, also make sure those are included. Otherwise, those are all going to be above and beyond costs. So your luggage and your flight insurance. So your flight insurance, I've highlighted that. That covers you for reimbursement, any emergency issues while you're on the plane. It's totally different than what your other separate insurance will be. People get confused with their other insurance. You want to have your other insurance covered separate from this. So what I saw was from $300 to $600. So you need to check that out too while you're wherever you're planning on leaving from. It could be from Calgary, for example. So wherever you're leaving from Canada, going to the Philippines, just take your time. But the important thing is to keep the same dates. And if flight time is important to you, I highly recommend you look at only one stop. One stop will mean that you go to Manila and then you're only going to transfer for a layover waiting to go to your final destination. If it has two stops, normally you're going to go somewhere else and you're going to have a longer layover. The flight's long enough. You don't need to add it longer for a couple $100. So that's up to you. I've done in Dumaguete, looked at Agoda, which I use Agoda a lot. You can use other ones also. This is just an example for you to help you out. What I saw for 14 nights was anywhere from $600 to $4,500. So $600 to $4,500. And that does not include any food. So again, when you're looking at these accommodations, you want to look at it clearly to see if it provides a breakfast. They normally will only provide a breakfast at the most. You will have to deal with the rest of the meals yourself. So while you're in Dumaguete, going to different places, you know, depends on where you go to eat in Dumaguete. You can be anywhere from, you know, 300 to 400 pesos to over 1,000 pesos. If you're a drinker, then you're going to have that tab on top of your food bill. But right now we're talking about just traveling there. Your travel and health insurance. You got to have separate health insurance and make sure that you're covered. The last thing you want is to be on this trip and something happens to you. The way it works in the Philippines is not the way it works in Canada. You got to have money in the Philippines. Otherwise, they'll leave you on a gurney out in the hallway. Got to have the cash. So you want to make sure you check out insurance and make sure that that's all taken care of. I do have information that I will be providing about the insurance that I use. That's going to be a separate up and coming video. But you're looking at $250 to $500 for this time frame, and it's going to depend on your health, because I have no health issues. So I put it no health issues, and you are under 69, which I'm under 69. So again, you meet a certain plateau. So you'll need to check that out with the provider. Again, I'm going to do another video up and coming about insurance separately. Now, your daily expenses. So that's getting around, getting a tricycle. A tricycle, say if you're downtown Dumaguete, down at Rizzo Boulevard, and you want to go to Robinson Mall, that's going to cost you on the average 30 pesos, but for a foreigner, they usually charge 100 pesos. That's one way. These are pesos we're talking about. If you want to, say, travel out to North Point where there's restaurants, that could be 250 pesos. From when you get off the airplane to get to your destination, that could be anywhere from 200 to 500 pesos, depending on the person and where you're going. Again, those are pesos, so you can convert them. Island hopping. Well, once you're in Dumaguete, you're not going to just sit in your room for 14 nights. And there's only so much that you really can do in Dumaguete. So you're likely going to want to go do some island hopping. And the easiest one, if you're in Dumaguete, which is the reason why I love Dumaguete, is you can go to Siquijor Island, which is only a 45-minute ocean jet ride. It's 300 pesos one way. You go over to the Dumaguete port. It's so simple. It's all right there. So I've allowed for 5 nights to go over to a resort on Siquijor Island. When I was looking at them, anywhere from $200 to $1,000 for the 5 nights. Again, you want to check to make sure what they have to offer. Do they have breakfast included? Because if they don't have breakfast included, you're going to have to go and pay for that breakfast. And breakfast is usually $300, $400 for breakfast, right? When you get to the port of Siquijor, is that resort picking you up at no charge? Or are you having to get your own transportation to that resort? So to and from. So you want to allow for that also. Tours and activities. $200 to $300 should cover you there. You know, you can spend more than $300. It's easy to spend that. If you get a tour around the island with a tuk-tuk, you know, that's going to cost you 2,500 pesos. You know, it really just depends on what you're going to do. The activities keep changing there. If you do the barbecue night there at the resort, that could be 2,500 pesos. And what I'm sharing is these accommodations are for one person. The flights are for one person, not for two. The insurance is for one. The accommodations, you could end up likely having 2 in there. The health insurance is for one person. Daily expenses is for one person. And the island hopping resort, again, you could likely have 2 people there. And the tours and activities, that's for only one person. So the grand total comes out minimum, you're looking at 3,300 Canadian. and above 9,300. I hope this helps you. The Philippines is absolutely beautiful. I love it, but you must be prepared. Don't come there unprepared. Otherwise, it will be a disaster for you.
Wow, beautiful morning, guys. I hope you're enjoying wherever you are in the world. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. I have lots of videos to share with you with my journey going around the Philippines. Bye for now. Have a great day.